I recently posted my desk setup tour, and while I was putting that together and waxing lyrical about different aspects of my setup, it got me to thinking which parts of my setup, which purchases have I made over the past 18 months that I'm really happy with, which ones do I wish I hadn't gone for, wish I'd have saved the money, and what do I think I still need. And I'm going to give two examples from each of those categories that I hope will be helpful to anyone looking to put together a good digital setup for whatever work you're looking to do. And first off, the great buys. The first one was easy, and it's the microphone. I have the Shure SM7B and it is fantastic. It looks really nice, sounds great. And importantly for me, it sounds great even in a room that's less than ideal for capturing audio. Plus, my home is in a pretty built up area and I've got kids in the house most of the working week. But I'm confident with this mic that most of the time I'm able to record voiceovers, videos, or be on video calls. I've even given a company presentation to a potential customer while I've had workmen right outside the window working on a house on the street, and they couldn't, the people on the call couldn't hear anything. I think being able to record audio is still an underrated capability, and I don't think you can compare the sound that you can still get from a mic like this to other really budget options. Now that being said, you don't have to go for the Shure SM7B. They do also have the MV7, which I know a lot of people like. And even since I purchased this mic, you've also got other options now like the Rode PodMic and the Logitech Blue Sonar, both of which I hear great things about. The second item on this list of what I'm really happy with is a little bit more tricky. I kind of thought about my laptop, but then that seems kind of redundant. It's pretty obvious. If you're going to have a digital setup, you're going to need a computer. And then I was thinking about my camera that I'm recording this video on, but that might not apply particularly to everyone. I'm a photographer and I do marketing, so that's an essential part of my setup. So I think the thing that I'm going to go for is my screens. And that's perhaps a bit surprising to me because they're also something I'd love to upgrade to something more high-end, maybe even try one 6K monitor rather than having two 4K monitors. But I have always loved working with two screens, and I still find that when I'm working away from my desk for any reason, I will leave work until I get back to my desk, just because I need to use my screens. I do not think I could go without them. So those are the two items I can't live without. What are the two that I wish I hadn't bought? And these are fairly easy for me actually. The first one is this smartphone gimbal from DJI. It's the OM3, I believe. I'd used a two-handle gimbal from Phaotech previously and I found it to be much better than this one. I'd even filmed a 100-meter race from the side of the track that actually came out looking pretty smooth. But by contrast, I haven't found the stabilization on this great, and it's just kind of a pain to set up and use. Part of that might be that my phone is just too big and bulky to use in a gimbal like that. But if I was to move to something like an iPhone, for example, that has an action mode built into it now, which by all accounts is pretty good. So unless you have a specific use case for a gimbal, I would say avoid. The second poor purchase was a teleprompter. Again, it's just too much faff to set up. It doesn't particularly save you any time, I don't think, in the long run, because you end up worrying so much about your script and you end up in a more robotic reading of your script. I know there are some YouTubers who make it work for them, but pretty much anybody who's really good at this just gets better at either just talking off the cuff or memorizing a script and then delivering it using recall. I've no doubt it works for some people and I think it might come in handy in a few situations in the future, but I got a relatively inexpensive one and I think I would have felt pretty sick if I'd have splashed out any more money on it. So that's what I'd keep and what I would avoid. In terms of what I still would like to have, number one would be a fast lens for my camera. I chose my two Sony lenses based on getting a wide range of available focal lengths. So I've got the 24-105 and then the 100-400. So with those two lenses and the fact that the A7 IV has an APS-C crop mode, I can basically get from 24mm to 600mm very quickly. But there are situations when I've needed a faster lens, either when I'm dealing with low light or if I need greater depth of field, if I'm capturing products in a difficult, dark, messy environment. I have used some older Minolta lenses with a converter that I have, but then you have to manual focus, which can be quite tricky when you're dealing with moving subjects all the time. So something just like the Sony 50mm f1.8 would be really helpful because it has autofocus. It would be great for photos and also has good video capabilities. So that's something I'm hoping to add to my bag pretty quickly. Secondly, a wireless mic system. Now I've mainly held off on this because I've been unsure whether to go for a system like the Rode VideoMic Go or something like the Zoom F2 field recorder, because then you don't have to worry about audio levels at all because it's 32-bit audio. I think I've now decided on the DJI mic because I think it will be more useful in a wider variety of settings. And really this goes back to the comment I made about the microphone I have on my desk. I think being able to capture high quality audio is a great differentiating factor to anyone looking to do media work. And with the quality of the physical tools that are now available, plus you've got great software in DaVinci Resolve now for voice isolation and cancelling background noise, I think it's just a no-brainer to add these tools to your setup. So let me know in the comments your keep, want and avoid. I hope you find this useful in your buying decisions, and if you subscribe, I'll see you in the next one.